What is up, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Dan Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's talk about tonight's episode of NXT, an episode that is, as usual, from Orlando. However, tonight I noticed a couple of things differently. I've noticed that Jada Parker is back on NXT television. We haven't seen her in a couple of weeks, partly due to some political tweets not political tweets, but some type of heat as far as political opinions are concerned. But in any event, great to see her in action against, what is that woman's name? I keep forgetting. Yes, Carmen, excuse me. Carmen and Jada Parker had a match tonight, and it all started because of a locker room brawl that had Jada Parker dropping a little bit of truth, in my personal opinion, because Ashante and Carmen are the on-screen kayfabe version of toxic relationships in real life. And like I said, if you have a relationship like Ashante and Carmen, break it off. But I will give a comedic opinion. Why would you cheat on? I hope things are over between Ashante and Nikita Lyons. I'm speaking kayfabe, because why would you cheat on somebody who carries a sword? Carmen carries a sword and apparently is very good with it. So why would you want to piss her off? I just don't get it. Ashante, you have a death wish. But in any event, that's just toxic relationship. And there's nothing more dangerous than a toxic relationship that involves a woman who carries a sword. Somebody's about to turn into Captain Hook from Disney. But in any event, we saw that Jada Parker lost due to outside interference by Kalani Jordan. Kalani isn't having it anymore. She's tired of being pushed around. Good for her. We saw Bayley come over. Bayley has not had a couple of good matches. She had a bad Friday. She had a bad Monday. And part of it is because of Roxanne Perez interfering and being at ringside watching all of her matches. But what was hilarious is how Roxanne and Cora Jade were treated like Simp 19 Dom and New Day and Hulk Hogan. But in any event, they got the treatment of both of those guys and Solo Sikoa. They were booed out of the arena, and it turned into a fight between Bayley, Giulia, and Roxanne with Cora Jade. By the way, Cora Jade showed up to TNA's Genesis, as did JBL. JBL doing double duties, showing up to Genesis and then showing up to Dallas on Raw. Both events were in the state of Texas, so it helps JBL's schedule come together a little bit. So that night we got Cora Jade is back on Florida, and they got booed out of the arena. I would love to see Bayley and Giulia take on Cora Jade and Roxanne in a tag team match. But I really want to see Bayley versus Roxanne Perez. I think that is going to make a great match for NXT Vengeance Day, in my personal opinion. Next on the list, I want to talk about Mr. King, not Martin Luther King, but Brian Pillman's son, King. He has apparently embraced his sinister side. He said he doesn't want to be like his father, but tonight he embraced his sinister side, cheating to win and retaining the NXT UK Heritage Cup Championship. And of course, I must say that Lexus King reminds me a lot of Chris Jericho. He's more like Chris Jericho than his father, Brian Pillman. And that is just my personal humble opinion. Just like with Dominic Mysterio, aka Simp 19 Dom, he reminds me more of Eddie Guerrero than he does of his own father, Rey Mysterio. Next on this list, I want to talk about, on this review rather, I also would like to say that Trick is in a bad mood, and Wesley found that out the hard way when he got the taste slapped out of his mouth. don't mess with Trick when he's pissed off. And of course, Oba Femi. I did not expect Oba and Eddie Thorpe to have such a competitive match, but I did expect one thing that happened, and that was for Oba Femi to defeat and destroy Eddie Thorpe in his first title match on NXT. And of course, Trick Williams showed up when Eddie Thorpe tried to attack. He got knocked out by Trick. I am looking forward to seeing Trick Williams versus Obafemi in a match. That is main event material, in my personal, humble opinion. But with that being said, I believe I have covered everything. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about NXT tonight. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and I will see you next time on All Things Wrestling. Peace out. Have a great week, everyone. Obafemi rules.